It's not January, but it is time to start thinking ahead to next year's garden. As I'm working in the garden, I find myself constantly thinking ahead, constantly analyzing what worked and what didn't work, what variety we liked, which one we didn't like, what did we get so much of this year that we don't need to plant next year? What did we not get planted this year that I want to make sure we do plant next year? The only way that I can keep all of this straight is by keeping a garden journal. Now, I haven't always kept a garden journal. It's something that I've started doing just in the last couple years, but I have found it to be a tremendous help when it comes to remembering what I've done, but also remembering what I would like to do next year. It really doesn't have to be anything special. You can just use a spiral notebook. And when I first started keeping a garden journal, that's all I used was just a spiral notebook. But this year I've started using a nicer journal. It's got like the little clasp on it, and it's got a page holder so I can turn to where I need to go very easily. But I find I actually keep notes a couple different ways. The most simple way to keep notes about your garden is just with your phone. It's almost always with me. And as I'm working in the garden, I will snap pictures of what I'm doing when my flowers start blooming or when the asparagus comes up, different things like that. So I have the pictures that I can look back through to see when I planted or when things started coming up. I also keep notes right in my phone in the little notepad. I'll put the date and what I planted, like 2 rows of green beans each or something like that, and where I planted them, just in case one of my garden markers gets moved, just so I can look back quickly and see when I planted it and then when it came up and then when I'm harvesting, and get a really good idea about the information specific to my garden. I'll show you here how I keep notes in my notebook. So you can see here on the left-hand page, I like to keep my notes in chronological order. When I planted things, when they came up, what I canned. I also try to keep some information about the weather and different things like that. And then on the right-hand side, they're more random notes that aren't for a specific day. So some of the random notes that I have in here are like, need to be sure to plant more basil next year. I only planted 2 basil plants and one of them bolted very early. So I didn't get to make as much pesto as we would have liked. So my note, it doesn't need to be on a certain day. I just make a note, hey, I need to plant more than 2 basil plants next year. Okay, and then if I go back to July is when we were canning a lot of salsa and stewed tomatoes, and it used way more garlic than I was anticipating. So we've almost gone through all of the garlic that we grew this year. So I just made a note that I need to grow a lot more garlic than I thought that I did. Some of my tomato notes, we love the celebrity tomatoes. We're definitely gonna plant those next year. The Blue Beach tomatoes we're kind of on the fence about. We like them, they're good tomatoes, they just get blight so bad. So I think we're gonna kind of play around with a couple different varieties of sauce tomatoes next year. Once I have an idea of what I'm wanting to do next year, then I go back through my seeds that I have. Now, throughout the planting season, as I'm using these, I just throw them back in the box, so they're kind of a mess. But this is a perfect time to go through, see what I have, and get them reorganized. I've just thrown these back in here, but I do have little cards that I can sort things alphabetically. There's a lot of different ways that you can store your seeds. I'm not going to get into that today. So I can look through here. I've got plenty of beet seeds. These are the slicing cucumbers that we use, and these are from 2017. I still have a few. We don't grow very many of these, but now they're a few years old, and I'm kind of wondering, are they going to germinate? Are they not going to germinate? So this is something I will probably order more of just to make sure I have what I need. So slicing cucumbers is going to go on my list to order. We've got a ton of pumpkin seeds because we wanted to plant pumpkins this year. And then we just ran out of time and didn't get the area prepared that we want to plant them in. So hopefully next year we'll plant pumpkins. Here's one bag of the green bean seeds that I used, and we have plenty of these, so I don't need to order bean seeds. And I'll just go through like that and check everything that we have. Then I still have my old seed catalogs. The new ones don't come out until around Christmas time. But I still love to flip through them and look for ideas on varieties I want to try. Sometimes we do try new ones, but honestly, we don't have a ton of space to experiment with a lot of new things. So most of the time, we just stick with what we know we like and what works for us. And then we try a few new things here and there as we can. So I will look through these for any ideas. But of course, when the new ones come this winter, I'm definitely going to spend a lot of time looking through them. It's one of my favorite things to do. So there's that. Right now, we are still harvesting from the garden. We haven't even cleaned it out and gotten it ready for fall and winter yet. We're working on it. So you might be wondering, like, why on earth are you starting to plan for next year right now? Well, it's no secret that things have changed a little bit. And I'm not going to get into all the politics about shortages and all of this stuff. But everyone should be aware that it is an issue. So when you're looking at ordering seed or seed garlic or seed potatoes, there's a very real chance that if you wait until January or February or March, it's going to be very hard to find varieties that you want. Especially things like the garlic and potatoes, they sell out so quickly. So this time of year, I try to get a jump on everybody else. I don't want to be fighting every gardener in North America for the seeds that I want come February or March when everyone starts thinking about planting their gardens. So I always pre-order my garlic, I always pre-order my potatoes, and I always try to get my seed order in before Christmas. It's just a security thing for me. I like knowing that I have what I need here just in case something wacky happens and I'm not able to get it. Certain varieties of seeds can be very hard to get. And even when you order something, it's taking much longer to get things through the mail. So it's just a peace of mind to have what I need, and I know that we're good for next year. Mostly what I'm doing now is just going back through my notes, like I said, planning what I need to order. But the one thing that I absolutely have to do soon is decide what bed I'm going to plant my garlic in. Here in the next month or so, the end of October, the beginning of November, I am going to be planting our garlic that we'll be harvesting next year. So I need to know which bed I'm going to plant it in, but that also means I need to know kind of where I'm going to rotate my other crops around the garden too. So that is one thing I'm going to have to sit down and really think about and see how everything is going to work out. I do try to rotate things as best I can. Everything else will just wait until after Christmas when I'm ready to finalize my garden plan and start thinking about the seeds that I'm going to start and all of that. And I really hope to encourage you guys to start thinking ahead. Don't wait until this winter or even next spring to be thinking about what you're wanting to plant. Let's make sure that we're looking ahead and being prepared and being ready so that as soon as the ground warms up in the spring, you guys are ready to go. Thank you so much for joining me today while we talk about garden planning. Make sure to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this from the homestead.